Hello and welcome to P02, the practicum lesson about comprehension checks and whiteboard skills. In today's lesson, we are considering the question, how can we make sure that our students understand? Objectives for today: students will be able to identify 3 uses of comprehension check questions. So we're not only thinking about how to ask them, but also when we use them and what we check comprehension of. Your other objective is that you will be able to distinguish between instructions comprehension check questions and language or content comprehension check questions. You'll find that each kind of comprehension check question is important because it's always concerned with how well our students understand that new input that they're getting. In this class, you're going to need the following things. Please get your methodology and practicum book ready. Remember, your practicum lessons are listed in the back after the appendix for methodology. Specifically, we're concerned with pages 116 and 117 today. And you'll be following along using this video and a number of handouts or documents which have been posted as part of this Google Classroom post. You're also going to need your own handheld device. This can be a phone or a tablet, or if you prefer, you can record using your own webcam. And if you haven't done so already, please skim page 116 for a minute. Generally speaking, this is a good habit to get into if you skim the practicum content before your class on Wednesday or Saturday. It will prepare you for the little mini lesson that most practicum lessons have. So the question is, what should we check comprehension of? When I say check comprehension, what exactly am I talking about? Well, one of the things that we're interested in checking comprehension of is new language or potentially new language for students. Now, importantly, it's not necessarily our focus is teaching the language at this point. The fact that we're using it means that we think they probably know it, but just to be sure, we check comprehension of it. So what do I mean when I say new language? It could be key vocabulary. That's vocabulary that they need to understand the upcoming input source, or perhaps it's vocabulary that they need to perform a task. So we want to make sure that they know what that means, and there are ways that we can ask those questions. Also, when we talk about new language, we could be talking about the meaning of grammar. There could be some grammar that they're using. It's not exactly the focus, but it's something we want to make sure that they understand. So you might ask a comprehension check question regarding some grammar that you come across. We also check comprehension of content, and this is a word you will see a lot in your TESOL course. Content, of course, being the ideas, the non-linguistic stuff that comes across in your lessons, the ideas and topics that students cover that they may not even know in their first language. So for that reason, you want to make sure they understand what the ideas are by asking comprehension check questions. And of course, we always check comprehension of instructions. Instructions and other key teacher talk, because if they don't understand exactly what they have to do, then they can't even participate in the lesson. Particularly with novices, you want to be crystal clear in your instructions without overwhelming them with language. You want to give them keyword instructions. You want to use dual coding whenever possible by writing either on the whiteboard or projector or some kind of material scaffolding handout. You want it to be written and spoken, and then you can check comprehension of those key parts of the instructions. Sometimes we do this using signposting, which is dual coding and also using your fingers to gesture to indicate number one, number two, number three, or first, second, third. So the question becomes, how do we check comprehension of instructions and content and language? Should we ask them if they understand? Do you understand, students? And of course, we don't want to ask, do you understand? In fact, this is one of Scrivener's ways to prevent learning. One of the things we know from dealing with English language learners is that students may be shy to admit that they don't understand, particularly if you're asking for volunteers to admit such a thing. And for that reason alone, you may get a whole class full of people nodding and agreeing that they understand when only some of them do. Or maybe none of them do. So do you understand does not really check comprehension. Instead, we want to get them to demonstrate that they understand. In other words, prove it. Prove that you understand by answering these well-designed questions. So, how do we check comprehension? We can check comprehension with well-planned questions that ask students to demonstrate their understanding. For example, we might have opposite questions. Opposite questions will ask them to perhaps agree that the opposite is true. For example, if it was exorbitant, was it cheap? Now notice that this is a yes-no question, and often teachers say don't ask yes-no questions here, but I would add that yes-no questions are okay. If you ask a follow-up question to have students explain their reasoning. For example, if it was exorbitant, was it cheap? And they say no, tell me why. Well, because if it's exorbitant, it costs a lot of money. So now they've demonstrated that they know. You might ask a demonstration question, I'm calling them. Something that perhaps requires a non-verbal answer, but still lets them demonstrate that they understand. For example, point to the podium in this classroom. If they understand what podium means, they should be able to indicate through a manual gesture where the podium is in the classroom. Similarly, you could ask them to, when novices are learning about body parts, for example, you could ask them to point to their own knee or touch their foot or something like this. You also might ask an elaboration question, which is really requesting additional information to demonstrate they understand. For example, let's say that the new language that we're checking is stale. Well, if bread is stale, where should we put it? S1. And if S1 says we should put it in our mouth, then perhaps S1 doesn't understand. The correct answer here clearly being, put that in the garbage can. We don't want stale bread. You might ask, what we're calling an example question. Can you give us an example of something smooth? Again, if they say fire, then they clearly don't understand the meaning of smooth. Finally, a kind of question you might come across is the paraphrasing question. Tell us in your own words how the war changed Asia. Here it happens to be a paraphrasing question about content. But you might have a paraphrasing question about, for example, instructions. Can you tell me in your own words what we're going to do, for example? So these are some question styles, if you will, that you might use when you check comprehension of language, content, and instructions. But because these are questions and we are still in a language classroom, we can use different interactions as we check comprehension. We might ask, for example, a standard T to S1 or answering individually question, such as, Carly, is the ocean shallow? Of course, if she says yes, that means Carly doesn't understand the meaning of the word, but if she says no, then we want her to say a little more. Why isn't it shallow? Well, because it's super deep. Don't ask me silly questions. We could also use an S1, S2 question. Bella, can you ask Blue how many eggs are a dozen? Again, this is a question that's asking her to demonstrate that she knows the word dozen. Or you could use an all students pair work question, sometimes called the 3 magic words, ask your partners. You could ask a question like, ask your partners for 2 examples of waterproof things. Here it's an all students pair work question, and it's a comprehension check about language, and it's an example question. Now, in the next part of this video, you're going to see a demonstration of various kinds of comprehension check questions in context. And to do that, I will show you my video. And as you are watching this video, please indicate in the handout which has been attached to this Google Classroom post. And please fill out what kind of questions are being asked. Is it in instructions, language, or content CC? And what interactions are being used? For example, is it T to S1 language CC? Is it S1 to S2 content CC? And so on. The first one has already been done for you. Additionally, you might follow along on page 117 and kind of tick off when you hear these things. You could tick them off in your checklist, write them over here. Notes anything interesting that you hear as we go. Yes, you can fill this out, but I will also be showing you the answers a bit later, so don't stress out too much about this task. It's just what we call a noticing activity. Okay, from this point on, at least until we change slides, I'm going to be demonstrating this use of comprehension checks in context. You are now my Hagwon students, and I am your Hagwon teacher. Action. Hi everyone. It's still very early in the semester, so I wanted to tell you something more about myself. So for this part of the activity, I'll tell you a bit about what I like to do. True story, actually. So you just listen and write any new words that you hear, and write one question that you would like to ask me about the story at the end. After the story, you can ask your questions, okay? Now, ask your partners, what are we going to do right now? Now, this was an all students pair work instructions comprehension check question. The rest of them you'll fill in on your own. Like many of your professors here at SMU, I love to travel to new places. I used to think I was addicted to culture shock. Jin, can I have culture shock in my house, with my family, in my country? Right. I couldn't do that because that wouldn't be anything special So what we just experienced was our comprehension check demonstration, and I hope you managed to get all of these comprehension check question types. Here are your answers, and I'm going to give you a little bit of analysis of what's happening here. So the first one was done for you. That was a whole class pair work instructions comprehension check. The reason we do that is because this way, theoretically, every student in the class is checking comprehension, and not just one. Our next question for Jin about culture shock was just the T to S1. So that was, in other words, asking individually, and it was a comprehension check about language. So the new language term was culture shock. If Jin had answered that you can have culture shock with your family, then that would suggest she doesn't understand the term very well. So I have to ask her to ask someone else. The next question was about getting lost, and that was S1 to S2 question. So remember, you can have them ask each other even when you're checking comprehension. And so if Lucy had said, when you get lost, you should eat cake, then perhaps she wouldn't understand that word. Next, we have the spontaneous question. How much do we plan for? That's a standard asking individually, T to S1, the language comprehension check question. And next, we had the Jihei asking Blue about random. That's an S1 to S2 language comprehension check question. Again, if she had said our class meets at random times, then she would probably need to ask somebody for help. The inconvenient word was a T to S1 language comprehension check, and we're actually asking for an example of something that's not inconvenient, so maybe that could be a tricky one. And finally, well, second to last, we have tell your partners what's my traveling style like. That's more about content than language. It's more about, did you understand what I was talking about in general, about the ideas? And that's a pair work comprehension check question. In the end, there's one last question for Sarah, which is asking her to recall instructions from the beginning of the activity. And normally this would be time for you to ask any questions about this story as part of the demonstration. If any of you actually has a question, you can feel free to put it in the Google Classroom. Ask me a question, I'm happy to answer. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to use your phones and or whatever device you'd like to use for a little recording. You're also going to use the comprehension check cards that are in this Google Classroom post. Please record yourself asking these questions for at least 3 of the cards. At least 2 must be language or content, and at least 1 must be an instruction card. You can submit your video with the CompCheck Cards Google Doc. So each of you has this handout, and it has been, there's a copy for each student, so you have your very own handout. And what I'd like to see is either I will look at it or your practicum teacher will look at it, and we're going to check how you're asking comprehension check questions. This is good practice, and it'll help you for your future micro teachings and future teaching. Just a few tips here before I show you a quick demonstration. When you're using the language content comprehension check cards, it's not a guessing game. You don't want the student to guess the word. You can say the word, you can actually say it, so it's not guessing, and then ask a question that causes the student to demonstrate that they understand. So it's not a guessing game. You're not making them guess the word, for example, charming or asparagus over here. You're using the word sometimes in the context of a sentence, sometimes on its own. You can create a context for it and then ask them a well-designed question to see if they understand. And of course, I realize you probably don't have any students around your house, so you're going to do this on your own, and I'll demonstrate how to do that in just a moment. One more tip. With instructions comprehension check cards, there is no additional activity, okay? So it's not referring to something real. So your task is just to read what's there, but then you want to clearly check comprehension of it. The easiest way to do that is to say, what are we going to do? But if it's multiple parts, it's better to check comprehension of each part of the instruction separately. So what are we going to do first? What are we going to do second? What are we going to do third? And so on. And often, those three magic words, ask your partners, can really check comprehension better than choosing one student and checking her comprehension. So keep that in mind. So in just a moment, I will demonstrate how this is done, and hopefully I'll see some great videos submitted by the deadline. Okay, so here is the demonstration of this activity, which should help you to succeed. What I have here are the comprehension check cards. I just pulled them up on my device. And I'm going to use the first one. Actually, I've been told this first one is completely irrelevant for Korean students because you don't use them, but the word is lawnmower. Okay. So I would say, okay, lawnmower. Let's think about that word. I have the TESOL. Okay. So I would say, Sarah, lawnmower. What kind of people need lawnmowers? Who uses a lawnmower for their job? And if Sarah says, for example, teachers, she might not know the word, but if Sarah says gardeners, landscapers, etc., that means she knows what a lawnmower is. Another kind of question I could ask is, if you if you use a lawnmower, what's the result of using a lawnmower? And if they say the result is warfare, they might not know. But if they say the result is you now have shorter grass, that would be a more advanced comprehension check question. Moving on to, for example, instructions comprehension check questions. This one I've created because I don't want to take any of yours, any of your sample cards. Here's one I've created just now. I don't know if you can read that, but it says S1 to S2 instructions comprehension check of the following instructions. So the instructions are stand up, push in your chair, and line up in front of the room. Now remember also, it's okay to use MICs like signposting. First, you're going to stand up. Second, you'll push in your chair. Third, line up in front of the room. Okay, so it's an S1, S2, so I will say, Jihei, could you ask Blue, what are we going to do first? And Blue says, first, we're going to stand up. Good. Blue, can you ask Jin, what are we going to do second? Jin says, we're going to push in our chairs. Right? And Jin, could you ask Jihei, what are we going to do third? We're going to line up in front of the room. So that was an S1, S2, but it's also basically a TSST. And I've done that with the instructions. Now, keep in mind there is no activity where you don't actually have to stand up or anything. We're just imagining that this is the task and we're checking comprehension for it. So in your case, you're going to be doing this with your webcam or your mobile device or your tablet, and you will attach your video to the handout with these comprehension check cards on them. And I will give you feedback promptly, and I'll let you know where your comprehension checks are pretty good, or if you need a little bit of work. And just because we are currently in different locations doesn't mean we can't share all of this great knowledge and information with each other. Okay. And this week's Teaching Basics is about whiteboard skills. The reason this is important is because even in this age of technology, our technology is not foolproof. In other words, your technology could fail. And when it does, you might be left with the kind of classic physical scaffolding tools that every classroom has. So when you use a whiteboard, a few things to keep in mind. Don't write too small or too large. This might be kind of an easy one. But the first time that teachers write on a whiteboard, it's usually the wrong size because they're not used to writing for a group. Remember, the people sitting in the back also need to be able to read what you write. Use consistent organization. There's a word that could use a comp check question. But consistent organization, when something is consistent, it means it doesn't change. It's always the same quality. In the case of a whiteboard, you don't want to put things in different places all the time. In methodology class, what we try to do is give you the question of the day in the middle of the whiteboard, objectives always in the top left corner, and the number and the lesson name in the top right corner. And the reason for this consistency is that if learners don't know what each place in the whiteboard represents, or if they don't know what to expect, then everything is processed like new information. But if they come in the class and they already know, oh, okay, there's going to be objectives in the top left, the question of the day is in the middle, I should copy that, there's the name and number of the lesson in the top right, I'll copy that too, then they can do it kind of automatically. That frees up their working memory, which you'll learn about in SLA. That frees up their working memory for that new content and new language that they're learning. Also, you want to make sure you separate content by using color or lines. This is just a good organizational habit. If you have, for example, new words that are always red, or you have line separating vocabulary versus different activities that you have, different scaffolding on the whiteboard separated by color or lines. Another one you might have heard already in your TESOL classes, asking students before you erase. And this is a technique that's really important if we don't want to interrupt our students. We don't want to erase it too quickly. If they are still writing, still taking notes, and we just go ahead and erase, that could be disappointing for them. And so always ask before you erase. And you don't have to be great artists to use your whiteboard for pictures. Pictures are great not only for visual learners, but also as human beings, we tend to process images much quicker and much more readily than we process abstract text. So take advantage of your whiteboard for pictures, images, any kind of visual aid some kind of way to visualize the content or language. Your homework for the next practicum class, well, as you know, there's not usually homework for practicum other than the reflection that you do after micro-teaching. Now, we haven't had micro-teaching yet, so make sure you know which week you're micro-teaching, and ask your teacher if you have any questions on how to succeed in that first micro-teaching. At the same time, please remember that micro-teachings are not worth many points at all, so it's time to learn by doing and not worry about scores and things like that. Thank you very much for watching the video and doing these activities. I look forward to